My name is Sarah Mitchell, I'm 36 years old, and I was standing in our kitchen at 8 months pregnant when my husband told me he'd paid our surrogate to disappear with my baby. The words didn't make sense at first. What did you just say? He wouldn't look at me. His hands were shaking. Sarah, I'm so sorry. I didn't know how to tell you. I'd waited 7 years for this. 7 years of negative tests, failed IVF cycles, 3 devastating miscarriages. This baby, our baby girl, was supposed to be the end of all that pain. If you've struggled with infertility or experienced loss on your journey to motherhood, please know this story contains themes of pregnancy trauma and betrayal. My prosthetic belly, the empathy bump I'd been wearing to feel connected to the pregnancy, suddenly felt like a lie pressing against my body. If this story resonates with you, please share it so others know they're not alone. Let me take you back to where it all began. I'd always wanted to be a mother. It was the one thing I was certain about, even when everything else in my life felt uncertain. I met David when I was 29, married him at 31, and we started trying right away. We were so naive then. We thought it would just happen. Month after month, the tests came back negative. Then the miscarriages started. The first one at 9 weeks. The second at 7. The third barely made it to 6. Each loss carved out a piece of me I didn't know how to get back. Maybe we should stop, David said after the third miscarriage. Maybe this is a sign. A sign of what? Yes. That I'm broken. That's not what I meant. But that's what it felt like. My body had one job, one fundamental thing it was supposed to do, and it kept failing. That's when we found Dr. Chen and started IVF. 3 rounds. $40,000. Hormone injections that made me feel like I was losing my mind. And nothing. Not even a positive test. I was 34 by then, and I could feel time running out. There's one more option, Dr. Chen said gently. Gestational surrogacy. Your eggs are viable. Your embryos are strong. Your body just can't seem to carry them. The words should have been hopeful. Instead, they felt like a final verdict on my failure. But I was desperate. We both were. We found Melissa through an agency. She was 28, had 2 healthy kids of her own, and her warmth came through even in our first video call. I just want to help someone become a parent, she said, smiling. I loved being pregnant. If I can give that gift to someone else, why not? He seemed perfect. Too perfect, maybe. But I didn't let myself think that way. We met in person a month later. She hugged me like we were old friends. We're going to do this together, she promised. I'm going to take such good care of your baby girl. The embryo transfer happened in March. 10 days later, Melissa sent me a photo of a positive pregnancy test with a row of heart emojis. I sobbed so hard I couldn't breathe. For the first time in years, I let myself believe it was really going to happen. The first trimester went perfectly. Melissa sent weekly updates. Photos of her growing belly, screenshots of her prenatal vitamins, videos of her eating healthy meals. Baby girl is doing great, she'd text. Strong heartbeat at today's appointment. I bought a journal and wrote letters to my daughter every night. I decorated the nursery in soft yellows and grays. I downloaded pregnancy apps and tracked every milestone even though I wasn't the one carrying her. David bought me an empathy belly at 20 weeks. So you can feel closer to her, he said. I cried when I put it on. It was as close as I'd ever gotten to feeling pregnant. We chose the name Emma. Emma Rose Mitchell. Everything was perfect. Until it wasn't. At 32 weeks, Melissa missed our weekly video call. I texted her. No response. Called. Straight to voicemail. I'm sure she's just busy, David said. She has her own kids, remember? But my stomach was twisting. Something felt wrong. The next day I called the agency. We haven't heard from her either, the coordinator admitted. But I'm sure everything's fine. Let me make some calls. 3 days went by. Nothing. I called Melissa's OB. I'm sorry, but she canceled her last 2 appointments, the receptionist said. We've been trying to reach her too. That's when the panic really set in. David, something's wrong. What if something happened to her? What if something happened to Emma? I'll figure it out, he promised. Just try to stay calm. But how could I stay calm? My baby was inside someone I couldn't find. I contacted the agency again. They sent someone to Melissa's apartment. She wasn't there. Her neighbors said they hadn't seen her in over a week. It was like she'd vanished. I couldn't sleep. Couldn't eat. I just paced our apartment wearing that empathy belly, my hands on the curve of it, imagining Emma inside someone I could no longer reach. We need to call the police, I said. No. David's response was too quick. Too sharp. Let's give it a few more days. She probably just needed space. Space. She's carrying our child, David. I know, let's not overreact. Something in his voice made me pause. A tension I'd never heard before. When I thought things couldn't get worse, I was wrong. I found the bank statements by accident. I was looking for our insurance information and opened the wrong file on David's laptop. There were transfers. Large transfers. To an account I didn't recognize. $20,000. $30,000. Another $40,000. All sent in the last 2 months. All labeled her. Melissa Reynolds. My hands went numb. We'd already paid Melissa through the agency. Everything was supposed to be handled through them. So what was this? I confronted David the moment he walked through the door. What are these transfers? What's are? His face went white. Sarah, I can explain. Explain why you've sent Melissa $90,000 behind my back. The silence that followed felt like falling. She asked for more money, he finally said. She threatened to terminate the pregnancy if we didn't pay. My heart stopped. She what? She said the agency wasn't paying her enough, that she deserved more for what she was doing. She said if I didn't pay, she'd end it. I couldn't breathe. When did this start? About 8 weeks ago. 8 weeks. 2 months. He'd been secretly paying our surrogate under the table for 2 months and never told me. Why didn't you tell me? Because I knew you'd fall apart, he shouted. You were finally happy, Sarah. Finally sleeping. Finally not obsessing over every little thing. I thought I could handle it. Handle it. She's blackmailing us and you thought you could handle it. I was trying to protect you. But I didn't feel protected. I felt betrayed. Where is she now, David? His face crumpled. That's when I knew. That's when he told me what he'd really done. I gave her one more payment last week, he whispered. $200,000. Everything left in our savings. She said she'd disappear. Start over somewhere else. Keep the baby. The room tilted. You paid her to disappear. With Emma. I didn't know what else to do. She was going to terminate Sarah. She said, I had to save her. I couldn't feel my body. Couldn't feel anything except a howling emptiness where my heart used to be. So you just gave her our daughter? I saved her life. You gave a criminal our child. He was crying now, but I didn't care. I walked past him, grabbed my phone and called 911. My name is Sarah Mitchell, and I need to report a kidnapping. David lunged for the phone, but I stepped back. Sarah, don't, they'll arrest me. Good. The police arrived within 20 minutes. I showed them everything, the transfers, the messages, the agency contract. David tried to explain, tried to make them understand he was protecting the baby, but the officer just shook his head. Sir, you need to come with us. They arrested him right there in our living room. Conspiracy to commit fraud and facilitation of child abduction. I watched them take him away and felt nothing. The detective assigned to the case was a woman named Rita Alvarez. She had kind eyes and a no-nonsense way of speaking. We're going to find her, she promised. And we're going to find your baby. But I couldn't let myself hope anymore. Hope had destroyed me too many times. The next 72 hours were the worst of my life. Detective Alvarez tracked Melissa's phone. It was off. Her bank accounts, she'd withdrawn everything in cash. Her apartment, completely empty. She'd planned this. Maybe from the beginning. Maybe we were never anything more than marks to her. I thought about Emma constantly. Where was she? Was Melissa taking care of her? What would happen when she was born? The not knowing was torture. I stopped wearing the empathy belly. Stopped going into the nursery. I packed up the letters I'd written to Emma and put them in a box in the closet. I'd lost her before I ever got to hold her. On day 4 my phone rang. Unknown number. Mrs. Mitchell. This is Trisha Reynolds, Melissa's sister. Froze. Where is she? I don't know. But I think I can help you find her. We met at a coffee shop an hour later. Trisha looked like Melissa. Same eyes, same smile. But there was a hardness in her face that Melissa had hidden well. My sister is sick, Trisha said. Not physically. Mentally. She's done this before. My blood ran cold. Done what before? Scammed people. Desperate people. She was a surrogate 3 years ago. Same thing. Got extra money from the intended parents, then disappeared. How is that possible? The agency vetted her. She used a different name. Different references. Melissa Reynolds isn't even her real name. It's Melissa Hartley. The coffee shop felt like it was spinning. What happened to that baby? Trisha looked down. There wasn't one. She made it all up. Fake ultrasounds, fake updates. Never even pregnant. That meant, is she actually pregnant with my baby? Oh, she's pregnant. I've seen her. That part's real. But what she plans to do with your baby when she's born, that's the part you need to worry about. I thought I might be sick. Tell me. She has a boyfriend in Tucson. Guy named Rick. He has a record, fraud, identity theft. They've been setting up private adoption deals. Cash only. No paperwork. Sell her. They were going to sell my Emma. Tell me where she is. I don't know exactly. But Rick has an apartment on the east side. I can give you the address. I called Detective Alvarez before I even left the parking lot. The Tucson PD found them 18 hours later. A run-down apartment complex with peeling paint and bars on the windows. Melissa was there. 37 weeks pregnant with my daughter. They arrested both her and the boyfriend. Found documents on his computer advertising private placements, with my daughter's ultrasound photos attached. Asking price. $250,000. They'd already received deposits from 3 different couples. Detective Alvarez called me with the news. She's in custody. The baby's safe. I want to see her. Mrs. Mitchell, I understand, but I want to see my daughter's heartbeat. I want proof she's okay. Please. There was a long pause. I'll make some calls. They arranged for Melissa to have a medical evaluation at a hospital in Tucson. Detective Alvarez flew me out and met me there. I stood in that hospital room watching the ultrasound screen, and there she was. Emma. My daughter. Her heart beating strong and steady. I sobbed so hard the technician had to pause the exam. Melissa wouldn't look at me. Just stared at the wall with empty eyes. Was any of it real? Asked her. Any of the messages? The updates? Did you ever care at all? She turned to me then, and her voice was flat. It's just business. Just business. My 7-year journey to motherhood. My grief. My hope. Just business. I hope it was worth it, I said. 3 weeks later, Melissa gave birth to Emma Rose Mitchell under police custody. 7 pounds 3 ounces. Healthy and perfect. They brought her to me 2 hours after delivery. I'd imagined this moment 1,000 times. Dreamed it. Prayed for it. Grieved for it. But nothing prepared me for the reality of holding my daughter for the first time. She was so small. So perfect. She had David's nose and my eyes and tiny fingers that wrapped around mine like she'd been waiting for me too. Hi Emma, I whispered. I'm your mom. I've been waiting so long to meet you. She made a small sound, almost like she recognized my voice. Maybe she did. I talked to Melissa's belly enough times in those first few months. The legal process took months. Melissa was charged with wire fraud, extortion, and conspiracy to commit human trafficking. Her boyfriend faced similar charges. They both took plea deals, 8 years for her, 10 for him. David took a plea deal too. 3 years probation, community service, and restitution to the agency. Our marriage didn't survive. Some betrayals are too deep to forgive, even when the intentions were complicated. He sees Emma sometimes, supervised visits. I can tell he loves her. I can also tell he knows he destroyed us. The agency shut down. Turns out they'd been cutting corners on background checks for years. Our case wasn't the first, just the first to go public. I joined a support group for intended parents who'd been through surrogacy fraud. I was shocked to learn how common it is. How many people have had their dreams weaponized against them? We're pushing for better regulations, stronger protections. It won't undo what happened to us, but maybe it'll save someone else. Emma is 8 months old now. She's hitting all her milestones. She has the best laugh, this full belly giggle that makes everything else fade away. Some days are hard. I have nightmares about losing her, about waking up and finding out she was never real. My therapist says it's trauma, that what I went through would shake anyone. That healing isn't linear. She's right. Some days I'm okay. Some days I can't let Emma out of my sight. But I'm working on it. For her. 'Cause she's here. It is real. It is mine. The journey to motherhood broke me in ways I didn't know were possible. It showed me the worst of humanity. People who saw my desperation and decided to exploit it. But it also showed me the best. The detective who worked overtime to find my daughter. The sister who risked her relationship to tell the truth. The support group mothers who held me when I fell apart. And it gave me Emma. I look at her sometimes, this perfect little person who cost me everything and gave me everything, and I think about all the women still waiting, still hoping, still fighting their own battles to become mothers. Your journey might not look like mine. Might be harder. Might be easier. Might break you before it heals you. But you're not alone in it. I wish someone had told me that 7 years ago, when I was just starting out and thought my body was broken. I wish I'd known that there are 1,000 paths to motherhood, and none of them define your worth. I wish I'd known that it's okay to grieve the journey you thought you'd have while fighting for the one you've got. Most of all, I wish I'd known that the love you feel when you finally hold your child, however they come to you, makes you understand why you survived everything that tried to stop you. Emma is asleep in my arms right now. She smells like lavender baby wash and milk. Her little hand is pressed against my chest, right over my heart. This is what I fought for, what I survived for. And I'd do it all over again for her. If you've been through infertility, pregnancy loss, or betrayal on your path to motherhood, your story matters. Please leave a comment and share this if it resonated with you. Someone in your life might need to hear it. And I want to ask you, if you could tell someone just starting their fertility journey one thing you wish you'd known, what? Wow.